When you hear the word soulmates and you hear the word twin flames, this is something that is becoming a little bit more, um, popular in the spiritual topics and among, many people who are more awakened or more consciously alert regarding spirituality. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about what soulmates are. What's the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame? Now, when we talk about soulmates, these are two souls, two different people, and it doesn't matter what orientation. It could be male to male, or female to male, or male to female, or both females. But what happens is that the soul of one person and the other soul of the other person come together as a spiritual union. The union is, sometimes takes place as a marriage, or as an engagement, or it could just be, living together as a partnership. But typically, these soulmates, when they come together to live or fulfill that part of themselves that they haven't, really experienced or really were able to live out in past lives. So a lot of these soulmates, they don't necessarily have the perfect relationship, because no one really has a perfect relationship, so to speak. But they do have this X factor, or this thing about them where they understand each other. A soulmate is someone where your soulmate could be all the way across the world. They could be over in Europe, and you're based out of North America, and y'all haven't really physically met, but you are communicating, whether it's over social media or whatnot. But there's an unspoken bond there, a union that unifies you, and you don't necessarily have to be in contact for a certain amount of time to know what that person is doing or to feel it. So with the spiritual union of a soulmate, that person, you already more or less know. You pick up the vibration, and you share almost the same vibration. So if that person is vibrating at a higher level, and what I mean by vibrating, meaning emotionally they are in a good spot and good place in their life, so will you. And typically, soulmates do help one another with the vibrations that they're feeling. If they're going through any themes in their life, such as financial struggles, the other soulmate may help them out. So it's like if there's a weaker link and there's a stronger link, they both come together to help each other out. With soulmates, there is a trust factor, and basically, you'll know. A lot of people ask, well, how do I know if this person is my soulmate? Well, basically, there's a trust there. It's trust that is just stated, and you don't ever have to question the motives or the loyalty of your soulmate. Because there again is that factor where you just innately, it's like programmed, that person is your soulmate, and there's a level of there's a bond there that connects you. So there's never really any kind of question about that. There's also, you can feel more open with your soulmate, and that's how you'll know that you are with your soulmate. If you feel like you have to hide something from your partner, from your, the person that you're with, it's a possibility that may not be your soulmate, because with soulmates, there's an undivided trust, between both parties, and it's just something that you never have to ever even question at all. And with soulmates, the good thing about this is that everything they do when they do it, together, or maybe at different parts of their life. One person could be in one part of their life, dedicating to their spiritual path, while the other soulmate is dedicating to their career or their profession. It all balances out. So typically, like a lot of these soulmate unions, one person could be in college, studying, whatever they're studying, and you could have another one who's already been through college, but they support their spouse or whoever they're with, their soulmate, so that they can acclimate, and of course go on that continue on their journey. their path. And so soulmates, that's the great thing about them. They have that bond that, you know, a lot of other people don't question. Typically with soulmates, there will be disagreements, and yes, there may be arguments, but it's not something where, you know, one person gets angry or upset and then they go off and do their own thing and they, you know, hold a grudge. There's really no grudge when it's a soulmate. So if you're questioning, you know, whether or not you are with your soulmate, that's one thing that should stand out. If you're constantly having an argument or bickering every single day, then it's a possibility that that's not your soulmate. And so that way you'll know, you know, more or less, because there's hardly any kind of problems. With soulmates, what you tend to typically see is that there may be sometimes family members who may, you know, want to incite drama or come between the partner. And it doesn't have to be family members. It could just be outside factors or influences outside of their relationship. And, you know, there is, again, that trust. So the soulmate, you know, if the one soulmate is being targeted by outside influences, the other soulmate's not going to necessarily believe or be naive to believe, you know, the outside influences. They're going to have that trust and undivided trust in their partner. And with soulmates, it's 50-50. Anything that they do, you know, one person does in the relationship, they, you know, it's equal. It's not where one person is contributing more to the relationship and then the other person is not. So typically with spiritual, you know, unions of soulmates, you typically tend to see that. With soulmates, you know, there is this theme of, and you see it among most partners with soulmates, where, you know, their families tend to embrace one more than the other, or sometimes they embrace both. But it's typically they do see the family supports them as well, of both parties, and they tend to see that union and hold it as a special union between the soulmates. With soulmates, also when they have children, if they do happen to have children, the children from a couple that are soulmates, true soulmates, may tend to be more gifted than children from, you know, that are not from a soulmate or from a divided household. So with soulmates, you may see that these children's are the children that they produce, you know, there tend to be more of a change in the world. They do change the world positively. These could be crystal children, the indigos, you know, the star seeds. These are typically children that are a product of a soulmate union. And that's something that I think, as I've read material and, you know, had discussions and read for people, I noticed that that's something that's not often stated. So that is something that you should be aware of. And with twin flames, it's a little different. Twin flames are two souls, but you could have a twin flame is basically two different souls, and when they merge together, it's very intense. It's an intense situation. So with twin flames, you could have one from a previous lifetime and have another person from this lifetime, and they come together. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be together in this lifetime. It just depends on you know, their soul's progression. But with twin flames, they typically are not they may not share the same ideals or principles of a spiritual union. They may not be in a committed relationship. With twin flames, you tend to see an intensity where they do come together, they love each other, but then they actually separate or go their own ways. Because the twin flame, you have to understand the word twin. It is similar, so it's like two identical people. They share the identical values, and sometimes that causes a clash. So when you hear the words twin flames or twin flame union, you may see where one relationship actually dissolves, and they may not come together at all. After a certain amount of time, it may dissipate, and that's typically something that is seen among twin flames. Now, with twin flames as well, there may be a lot more arguments and a lot more disagreements. But when the person, you know, they separate, typically with twin flames, you may still think of that person, and they may still be in your thoughts. But that's typically what a twin flame union is. Also with twin flames, you have where, you know, you may be in a relationship with someone else, but then there comes along your twin flame, and you may know this may be something that you saw in a dream, or you spiritually, you know, felt their energy. You may not necessarily have a face to that person, but that's typically what a twin flame is. And so you may not necessarily be united with them. You could be with someone in a relationship, but you're not necessarily with your twin flame, with the twin flame. But, you know, some part of you is connected to them. So basically there is some kind of bond there that you have with the twin flame, but you just haven't come together. And like I said, to twin flames, it's something where, you know, there is love in between both people, but sometimes it's so intense and it's so uncanny on how similar that you both are, that you cannot be together. And sometimes there are twin flames that are together, and the relationship does work for a while, but then it just, you know, dissipates for whatever reason because of the similarities or differences. And then you have some twin flame relationships that may never come together. You know, that person may leave this planet before you do, or vice versa, and your soul, you know, will definitely meet up with them again when you reincarnate in the future. But, you know, it may not be in this lifetime where you share that twin flame bond. But typically a lot of people ask me, you know, are twin flames the same thing as one soul? And no, it's not one soul. It's two different souls. We each have our own soul, but it's two different people. But the frequency and the vibration and a lot of the themes that are in that soul, embedded within that soul, are almost identical. So with twin flames, you may notice that that person that you know, that is your twin flame, has was born maybe in the same time, maybe had the same kind of family upbringing, has the same kind of interests as you do. Maybe they had a scar close to the same area where you have a scar. They could have had the same kind of surgery as you've had. There's just a lot of things that you both experienced, but at different times, but were very similar or identical. And that is what the twin flame union is. So when you come together, it's like it's a reflection of yourself that you're looking at, and that can be sometimes overwhelming, the experience. It's almost platonic. So typically, you know, to answer the question a lot of people have out there, do twin flames, you know, relationships, do they work? Typically, no, they don't work. Not all the time. You can make it work, but it is all going to depend on both parties and how receptive they are to embracing the identical aspects of both souls. So, you know, and you'll know the difference if you're with your soulmate or your twin flame. It's kind of like I said, there is a union between both soulmates and twin flames, but there are differences. There are major differences. There may be doubt with your twin flame, and you may have been in a relationship with a twin flame, and then you go on and you move on to another relationship, but then you're still thinking in the back of your mind about your twin flame and how they are. And ultimately, with twin flames, you want to see your twin flame happy. That's something in the future, you know, wherever you want to see their future happy, and that's something that mostly all twin flames, you know, have. If you're wanting to see revenge or, you know, karma against them, then they may not be your twin flame at all. Just someone that came into your life because of your soul contract, etc. But I hope that you found this video very enlightening about this topic, and again, there will be more videos in the future. If you are tuning in from YouTube, please look at the bottom right hand corner, and there's a subscribe button, and you can subscribe to this video, and you'll be notified anytime I release a new video. If you're tuning in from YouTube, you can visit me on Facebook, and I do have daily horoscopes and daily articles and quotes and some educational pieces, and you can follow me on Facebook at Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. That's the name of my page, Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. My website is www.psychicmediumray.webs.com. Again, that's www.psychicmediumray.webs.com. And if you're on Instagram, my Instagram is at Psychic Medium Ray, or Psychic Medium Ray. And in the upper right hand corner, once you're on my page, there's 3 little dots. If you click on them and you scroll the way down to turn on post notifications, you will be notified anytime I make a post. So thank you so much for tuning in, and blessings of love and light.